Other stories that we're following right now as we move along, generals, 12 of them. Between them, they have 80 stars. Stopped to talk to Barack Obama's administrative officials today to send a very clear message that they think that Gitmo should be shut down and that the U.S. policy that we presently have on torture should be obliterated. Stopped immediately. We have one of the generals talking to us now. In fact, it's a Rear Admiral, I should say. U.S. Navy Rear Admiral John Hudson is good enough to join us now from Washington, D.C. How did the conversation go? Were they receptive to your message?
I think they were very receptive, Rick. The conversation went very well. It was productive. It was very forthright. We've come together. We're a group of 12, but we're a subset of about 40 admirals and generals who, over the course of the last 3 years, have been dealing with this very important issue. And we came here to talk with the transition team. We talked with Greg Craig and Mary DeRosa and Eric Holder, the Attorney General nominee, to tell them how important we think it is that the new president say up front in the inaugural speech that the United States is not going to engage in torture or enhanced interrogation, and then go through a series of actions to demonstrate that. And we feel this way basically because we think that gaining actionable intelligence is so incredibly important to protecting the United States and protecting U.S. troops, and that those kinds of interrogation techniques are actually less effective. They are ineffective ways of doing it.
But interestingly enough, there are those who would think, as a military man, Admiral, you would want every single advantage that you can get with these darn terrorists, and you're going to do whatever it takes to take them down and get information from them. That's what some would argue.
And they would be absolutely right. We want to take those actions that are most likely to get actionable intelligence. And as it turns out, torture, enhanced interrogation is not it. What we are advocating are interrogation techniques that have been proven through time, time-tested going back to World War II and beyond, that actually do get good, actionable intelligence. And that's our whole point, so that we're trying to get rid of the stuff that doesn't work, the stuff that smears the good name of the United States domestically and internationally, and get the intelligence that we really need to protect the United States.
It sounds like you're saying the Bush administration got it wrong. And I guess my follow-up question to that is, why did they get it wrong? Why weren't there enough admirals and generals like yourself from the very beginning to say, no, don't do that. Don't send them to Egypt or some other country that you know is going to torture them?
Well, we've been working on this issue for a long time. That's, as I said, this group was brought together 3 years ago by Human Rights First. We've been singing this song as loudly as we can for a long time because we feel so strongly about it. And it's not a comfortable position for us to be in particularly. We wish this issue would go away and that the administration had gotten it right. But it goes on. We need to fix it. The United States needs to get back on track in order to get that kind of intelligence that we need and to clear our good name.
If Gitmo closes down, one of our viewers wants to know, what do you do with those folks who are there?
Well, there are a series of steps that need to be taken. And not all of those people are exactly the same. Some of them we need to prosecute. The U.S. District Court, since 9/11, federal courts have convicted 145 terrorists. We need to get those bad guys to court and get them convicted and put them in jail.
So you're saying they should be treated like any other criminal, and they shouldn't be set aside somewhere and dealt with in some different or, I suppose, peculiar way?
They're not warriors. They're not soldiers. They are criminals. Those that have engaged in criminal activity are thugs. They're criminals. They're terrorists. We ought not treat them like warriors.
That's a good point. But the other thing that I'm thinking about as I'm listening to you talk is the following: are you afraid, or should I be afraid, if my son goes into the military, which he very well might, that he will be treated in a similar way as we have treated some of our prisoners? Is that, how big a concern is that point that John McCain, by the way, many months ago?
We want to make sure that the United States takes the moral high ground. Now, I can't promise you that if your son goes in the military, and I hope he does, that how he's going to be treated if he's captured by the enemy. But as John McCain said, it's not about them, it's about us. And if we maintain the moral high ground, we're at least in a position where we can argue that this is the way it should be across the board. We're not, this group of admirals and generals isn't so naive as to believe that everybody's going to live up to our standard, but we sure as heck should live up to our standard ourselves.
Rear Admiral John Hudson. You know what? It's a pleasure to listen to somebody like you.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you taking time, sir, to talk to so many Americans watching us right now.
Thank you.